Hi, everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terrence Scardino. The week begins on Monday, May the 3rd. And on Monday, the moon will be in quirky, idealistic, friendly Aquarius, as Mercury, the planet of communications, decision-making planet, will be aspected by expansive Jupiter. Mercury-Jupiter could be very favorable for studying, for traveling, because it's all about expanding the mind and making long-range plans and a certain amount of optimism, which is the Jupiter energy, with your decision-making process. At the same time, the Sun is aspecting Saturn. But because of the Mercury-Jupiter, there's a lot of mental activity, a lot of more optimistic, upbeat energy. Then the Sun-Saturn, if it was just by itself, it could be a bit of a heavy, more serious day. But now, because of the Mercury-Jupiter, the Sun-Saturn could just be a very favorable day for accomplishing a lot of work. Good for business. Accomplishing all of those tasks. And by the evening, Pacific Daylight Time, Mercury, that's been in Taurus for several weeks, which is more this steady, more grounded, practical kind of energy. Now communication Mercury is moving into Gemini. And Gemini, Mercury's at home in Gemini. Mercury and Virgo are the two signs ruled or associated by Mercury. So Mercury's the planet of communications. Gemini's the sign of communications. A lot of ideas, a lot of restlessness, running errands, a lot of correspondence. So from late Monday, the 3rd of May, Mercury goes into Gemini. Now, instead of it being in Gemini for 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be there for over 2 months. And that is because on May the 29th, Mercury will retrograde, still remaining in Gemini until June the 22nd, which will then start to go direct after now that you've lined up all your ducks and you got more clarity of your choices. And now the Mercury continues in Gemini more favorably until July the 11th. So wherever Gemini falls in your horoscope, your mind is going to be drawn to those issues for over 2 months. On Tuesday, the moon continues in quirky, idealistic Aquarius, and in about 9:11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, it's a bit of discord with the Venus. Now, these are two benefic personal planets, but they could be at odds with one another, meaning that it's when it comes to relationships, you might be feeling that the other person is not as open. You're not getting your needs met. But whatever kind of concern with personal relationships in the first part of the day, by between 5 and 7 p.m. Pacific time, the moon is going to cross over expansive Jupiter, as it does once a month. And this brings a lot of expansiveness to the emotion. So it's often really good for entertaining, for socializing, feeling optimistic. But this Tuesday is now the beginning of 1 week before next Tuesday, which is the new moon in Taurus. And I mention this every month. The week before the new moon is a winding down. See, there's a new moon every 4 weeks. We got the new moon, the quarter moon, the full moon. You plant seeds, you begin new projects with the new moon, and by the full moon, you get to see what's working and what's not working. The last week of that lunar monthly cycle is either a holding, just waiting for new energy to come in, or wrapping up or letting go, bringing closure. The point is, as I mentioned once a month, the week before the new moon, is best not to launch any significant major new projects because the energy is winding down and you want to wait till next week when it starts gearing up. On Wednesday, the 5th, Moon is now in sensitive, compassionate Pisces and in harmony with Mars from about 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And so there's a lot of taking action. That's the Mars, to be more supportive, more nurturing. And by 4 to 6 in the afternoon Pacific time, now the Moon's going to be in harmony with Uranus. Now that could bring in a lot of exciting new projects. If you're feeling like you've been stuck or life has been a bit of a routine, that Moon to Uranus can bring in some new ideas, some new excitements, and get you out of your rut. On Thursday, the Moon continues in Pisces. So all this kind of sensitive, compassionate energy. But the love planet Venus, planet of what we desire, is going to be in harmony with profound Pluto. Now, this will happen twice a year. And so Pluto rules the underworld, the depths, but Venus is all this love and harmony. So it is a day that you may want to express your most intimate feelings. In other words, just telling somebody that you love them, you appreciate them. If you are meeting somebody, going on your first date, or just connecting somewhere on the planet, that Venus Pluto, you might just be really a bit swept away thinking, wow, this person really captivates me. And the Moon will cross over romantic, empathetic Neptune by afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. So Thursday can be a very romantic day, but it can also be a highly creative day since Venus also rules the arts. On Friday, now the Moon is in fiery Aries starting at 4:53 a.m. And by the early evening, 6 to 8 Pacific time, dinner time, the Moon will be in harmony with communication Mercury. So this is a very favorable time for socializing, having great conversations at dinner, or going to a party, a gathering, and doing a lot of social networking. Saturday, the Moon continues in independent, fiery Aries, but pleasure-seeking Venus will be in aspecting expansive Jupiter. Now, it's Saturday. Venus is pleasure-seeking. Venus-Jupiter could be having a really great time, but sometimes you can overdo it, whether you're drinking too much, eating too much, with a smile on your face. You could spend too much money. Then Venus, that's been in Taurus, more steady Taurus for the past several weeks. By the early evening, it is moving into Gemini until the beginning of June. Venus is very sociable energy. Gemini likes to interact, be sociable, talk. So overall, that Venus in Gemini is much more social energy. And with Venus hitting Jupiter, it's a great night for a party. Sunday, the Moon remains in Aries the first part of the day, but will be in conflict with dark Pluto, 10 to 12 p.m. noon Pacific time. There could be some emotional manipulation, power struggles, but it'll all get worked out after the Moon goes into calming, steady Taurus at 4:47 p.m. Pacific time. And then the new Moon is on the 11th. So Also, this whole week could be really favorable, especially with all this Venus, a lot of relationship issues, of bringing closure and resolving any relationship matters. Before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for a one-question offer for a nominal fee. To order it, go to the home page, click on the tab that says Advisors. You just scroll down till you find my name and click on it. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.